Hello, I'm Steve Olson, the Manager of Training Services for Mesa. In this video, I'd like to demonstrate how to create rest machining between setups in Fusion 360. So let me explain to you the scenario that we're going to look at first. So I already have a part modeled up. It's already sitting in there. I modeled up my stock. That way I could place it in a vise, which I've got the vise from the data panel here. They actually have a lot of pre-created vices that you can use for work holding and different work holding samples. If you go all the way back out to your data panel under CAD examples, CAM examples, you'll see there's a work holding folder, and there's a bunch of different work holdings that you can then save to your project and utilize and edit. These are read-only, so you won't be able to make changes to them. So I have my part, I have it in the vise. I already have a setup. If I go to the manufacturing site, let me regenerate the toolpath. So I already have a setup. Here's the coordinate system. The idea in this scenario is that I need to machine the other side because of the way this is sitting in the vise. I'm going to need to create a setup for the other side to do the face operation, and then probably do a 2D contour to finish up the part because we're going to try to stay away from the vise. So I want to be able to do that, but I want to do it with rest machining. I want to only leave the material that was left after the first setup. How do I go about doing that? So right now, the best way to go about this is to export the rest of the stock out as an STL file and bring that back in. There is a preview feature at this point in time in Fusion 360 that supposedly will allow you to do this, that if you do one setup, that there's a preview function that will enable rest machining from the previous setup. However, in the 2 or 3 times I attempted it, it just never seemed to work right. I just never seemed to get the right result. But this is definitely a fail-safe way to do this and get that right result. So how do I get that stock out that is whatever the stock looks like whenever setup 1 is done? Well, you need to simulate the process or the setup. And not just jumping into this dialog box is not enough. I've done it with just jumping in and exporting it out, and my stock looks like this. You need to either play it, or you need to jump to the part where it's all the way done. It's on the last operation. So you can see now my stock is set up, and it's looks like the operation is done. At this point, I can right click on setup 1. I can go to stock. I can say save stock. Notice it's going to save an STL file, and notice it's going to save it to my PC. So I'm just going to save it to my desktop so it's easier to find later on, and I'll call this fixture bracket stock for setup 2. I'll hit save then. I can close this, and I'm going to go back to the design workspace. Now that I'm back in the design workspace, I kind of have to ask myself a question to know what my next step is going to be. That STL will behave as a mesh once I bring it back into Fusion and bring it into this design or another design. If my purpose here is to just create the second setup without placing this part in a vise, then I can just bring it back in and I'm good to go on to creating the second setup. The reason there's that dividing line is when I try to bring a vise in to constrain that or create the joints to show that second setup in the vise, I'm not able to create the joint between the mesh faces and the faces of the vise. So I need to go through an extra process to convert that part into a solid that I can then bring back in here. And just for the sake of showing you the most complicated way, I'll go ahead and show you that now. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to a new design file. And I've tried this in a couple different ways where I just open up the solid or the STL and or I've imported it. I like to use the import because the STL by default is saved in millimeters and I work in inches a lot, so I have a scaling issue if I don't use this insert. So I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to go to Insert Mesh. I'll pick up the file from my desktop that I just created. You can see here I can then choose the unit type. Setting the insert type to millimeters will then create any kind of scaling issues I've had. If I just go to open the file, it doesn't consider the unit type, and I end up having a scaling issue like I said before. So I'm going to say millimeters, I'm going to say OK. And I want to make this thing into a solid body. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come down to bodies. If I right click on this, you'll see that I can't do any kind of conversion. I have to go to this top level here and tell it to do not capture design history. Just telling it that's okay. Now if I right click on this mesh body, there is a mesh to B-rep option. That's going to turn the mesh into a solid body. Say OK. You can see over here in my browser now I do have a solid body, and it still has that mesh body, but the mesh body is turned off right now. So let me go ahead and save this. It's going in the right location here. That's good. So I'll save it. Now I can return back to my main level. I'm going to turn off the initial stock here so we get a better idea of what's going on. If I expose my data panel, go to the right project here. There is the one I just saved. I'll left click and drag it into my window. Notice that it lands right over the other part because the origins are the same for those two files. I won't need to do anything else here. I'll say OK. And one other thing I have a tendency to do is because this is a second component, I want to make sure it's held in place. So I'm going to just ground it. I could create an as-built joint between this and the original body too, but right now that body won't let me create a constraint to or a joint to it, so I'd have to make that apart. Just grounding this will make this a lot easier moving to the next step. So now let's say I want to bring in another vise for the purpose of kind of setting that up and seeing what that setup complete with the work holding would look like. So in my work holding folder, I have a couple vices that I copied out of that stock one that is provided to us, and I just copied it into this project. I'm going to left click and drag this vise into my window. Just make sure I don't have anything selected. I'm going to left click and drag that vise into my window, so we'll place it. So I'm happy with this location, or at least just bring it in. I'm going to say OK to this. To make this a little bit easier, I'm going to turn off the visibility of my part and also the visibility of the first vise. That way I have just the stock and I have this vise available for me to look at here. Also in this vise, I'm going to turn off the front jaw. The front jaw is the sliding jaw. And let me kind of just move this part out of the way so I can see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to create a constraint between this part and my jaw here. So I'm going to go to Joint. I'll tell it to capture the position because I moved it out of the way so I could see things a little bit better. I'll grab the midpoint of this face here. And I'll grab the midpoint of this edge. I want this to be a rigid joint. And obviously it brought the two edges together there. I want to kind of offset that a little bit. So I'll grab this arrowhead, click and drag it, so I can really tell which offset direction I want to go. And let's say I want to go negative 0.5. That should get it nicely, solidly in the vise there. So say OK. Now I need to turn on the view of the other jaw. I'll slide it out of the way. I'll go back to Joint. I'll tell it to capture the position. I'll grab that point. This point here. Now it's going to freak out because it can't hold that rigid, but realistically the right joint for me in this case would be a planar. And then once I switch over to a planar, it should really just be okay and not have a problem with that. So I'm going to go ahead and save this because I've got my geometry for the second setup ready. One other thing that I like to do is you see it capture these positions. Those are unnecessary now that I've got those joints. So I actually have a tendency just to go back and delete them because I kind of find them as a little bit unnecessary now that I've got the joint in there. Before I jump back into manufacturing, I do want to point out that you can see both setups here, or at least the geometry associated with it. Even though I've got two vices here, I do have two vices, I have two stocks, and I have full ability to kind of turn on and off anything that I need to see. So I can even turn off the other stock. There's the initial setup. That looks good to me. Turn off the original setup stuff. Turn on the stuff for the second setup. So it's just a matter of toggling the right things. But everything looks good to go here. So now I feel like I'm ready to go back into my manufacturer environment to create the second setup. So I'm going to go to design here and switch over to manufacturer. And you see setup 1, every time you kind of exit and come back in, your setups need to kind of be regenerated. So I just did that just for the sake of doing that here. So now I'll go to create a new setup. And I'll jump over to stock first because I think that's what I want to make sure I have first, and then it will also dictate my coordinate system. So you can see here I did enable the preview to enable rest machining between setups. That's a preview function, and I get this extra option here from preceding setup. It never seemed to have worked right for me for whatever reason. I'm not going to worry about it. This workflow works well. And again, that's just a preview feature, so that's still in beta phase. They're still working some things out. And there's probably going to be a time when this won't be necessary to do what I'm about to show you here. But I'm going to go from solid. And it wants me to pick up. I'm going to go up here to my model. And there is my stock for the second setup. I'll go back to the setup tab. For my model, I'll make sure that I pick up the right body. I can turn on the fixture here as well, pick that out of the browser. To me, these things are easier to pick out of the browser. So now for our orientation, you can see the X, Y, and Z is all messed up here. So I'm going to change this to say X-axis, Z-axis, plane X-axis. So I'm going to just pick this edge right here. And the Z is going the wrong direction, so I'll flip it over. And let's see here. Let's define an X-axis. I'll have it run along this edge. We'll flip that around. And then for my origin, I'll pick a box point. I'm going to use this one over here, just arbitrarily picking that one there. I'll say OK. Now my setup's ready to go. I'll just quickly create a face operation so you can see what that would look like. But realistically, I could do the face operation, the 2D operation. So I'm going to go to 2D. I'll go to face. Pick the right tool. I already have some tools in this one because of the first set of operations I did. Yeah, that face looks good. The heights, the passes. I'm going to go multiple depths because I've done this enough times that typically the one operation is just a little bit too steep for it. So I'll go with 120 thousandths. And let's simulate this to see what this looks like. I'll turn this stock off. Leave this stock on. And there we go. So then I could go through and do the 2D contour, and that'd be set up correctly. But you can see I'm getting the right stock there for this part because of that operations or all those steps that I went through. Thanks for taking time to check out this workflow. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email me. My email address is there on the screen. And as always, thanks for watching.